Hello, workmates. Welcome to Work and Talk in PH, your go to podcast for lifestyle insights, career convos, and real estate realness, where chill convos meet real life lessons because hashtag it works.
I am Julio, and today we are diving into the world of animal care, content creation, and youth advocacy through the eyes of a future vet, bringing heart into every space he's part of. Please welcome Roque Banzon to the podcast. So happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me on, Jules. So if it's not already clear, me and Julio are cousins. So you could tell where this content creator gene comes from, I guess you could say. But it's really an honor to be here. But yeah, I'm super excited to be here. Always happy to talk about my passions and whatever has been keeping me busy as of late. And just always a good time kicking it with my cousin Julio.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. This is very inspiring. Yeah, so let's get started, man. Let's start with something big. You spent time in Australia. What brought you there in the first place, and what made you decide to come back and pursue your studies here in Philippines?
Okay. Well, that's a great question because it's a very fresh event that had just happened. I just arrived a couple of weeks back. And I guess since it's a podcast, I can kind of give you guys the whole spiel of how it actually came into fruition. So this entire trip actually started back in end of 2023, wherein my mentor, Dr. Leo Almelor, shout out to Dr. Leo. He's one of the vets in New Alabang Veterinary Center and kind of took me under his wing as one of the exotic animal advocates and enthusiasts, I guess, that are also in the veterinary profession. It all started when he shared a post by Exotic Vet Support, which is an international educational and mentoring platform specifically for veterinary medicine. He shared a pub showing that there's a conference going on in Sydney in 2024. But obviously, being a student, I did not have unlimited funds. I'm not a Nepo baby either. So it was kind of a far-fetched dream of mine, honestly, to attend this convention because not only would I be missing school, but I would also be, depleting my savings. And basically, I thought it was like out of reach. And after that, he sent us a Facebook post of the poster inviting to the conference. And I just jokingly shared it on my own personal Facebook page saying, baka may sugar daddy dyan or sugar mommy, sugar daddy dyan willing mag-sponsor sa akin. Clearly just playing a joke because I knew that it was far-fetched. And to my surprise, one of my cousins actually commented on that said post. So shout out to my cousin Denise Laurel. Not the famous one, not the famous singer, same name. But then
Wow.
she's famous to me. She's famous to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she commented saying essentially that you don't need a sugar daddy or sugar mommy. You have me, who lives in Sydney. So basically saying that she would be willing to host me during my time there. So I'm like, okay, that's one domino down. And then after that, it kind of just snowballed effect. Don't want to keep this too draggy because this is just the start of the cuento of how I ended up in
Yeah.
Australia. But long story short, I got the support from my family, which was honestly just amazing. It really just started off as just a joke to me. And it just shows that if you put yourself out there, then the people will support you. So I found my way into the conference. I was one of the only students in this conference because typically these conferences are for practicing professionals. So practicing vets, practicing veterinary nurses. So I was like one out of three students in a room of over 100 veterinarians. So I felt like an imposter at the moment. I felt like insecure. Not only am I coming from a third world country, but I'm also a student. So, big imposter syndrome started hitting me at the moment. But I did come there with a mission. And my mission was really to connect and network with like minded individuals. And I tried to talk to the organizer, Dr. Dean Falkler, during the conference. And unfortunately, because it's a conference, everybody's kind of trying to talk to him. So I kind of struggled with that. And I don't know if this is TMI, but basically, we were in the bathroom and I saw him enter there. It was just the two of us there. So I was like, okay, this is my shot. This is the only time that I'm going to get him in a room where it's the two of us only. So yeah, I shot my shot. I reintroduced myself. I expressed how I ended up in his conference, just talking about this story that I'm sharing with you guys right now. And, we just kind of hit it off talking about reptiles, talking about all the crazy experiences that he's had. I tried to ask as much as possible, how he got to where he is today, because he's the type of vets with like a bajillion letters after his name. So
But
DVM, advanced practitioner,
yeah,
specialist in reptiles. So I'm like trying to absorb as much as I possibly can from this guy. And yeah, at the end of the conversation, I just mentioned that, hey, I would love to work under your wing someday, whether it's just a shadowing thing or what. And he said, yeah, sure. But obviously, you can't really, you have to take it at like face value. We were in a conference. He was probably just being polite.
yeah.
But yeah, after that, we kind of kept in touch after the conference, just emailing. I sent him pictures of the event that he needed for his publicity, and we were exchanging. And then this year, so fast forward now to 2025, the conference was at 2024. Sorry, this is a really long yap session, but
No
I
worries.
swear it's all gonna come together. Um,
Yeah.
so he was inviting me to the conference again this year. But in all
Wow,
honesty,
personally,
yeah,
he
yeah,
personally invited you.
yeah, he invited me. The promotional pages and pubs were not even out yet, but he personally invited me to the conference, and I said, "Oh, I don't know if financially I can afford it and all of that stuff." And then he said that like, "Oh, because it's you and you attended, I'm willing to give you up to an 80% discount off the admission ticket." And
Well,
mind you, the admission ticket is 800 Aussie dollars, so it's pretty expensive. That's like almost 34,000 pesos roughly.
yeah, yeah.
So I
Well,
was like, I still didn't really want to go to the conference, not for any knock at the conference, but only because at this stage of my career, so I'm a 6 year vet student on my final year of vet school, I'm trying to obtain as much hands-on training as possible. So a conference is mostly lectures, and I feel like I wouldn't like be able to develop my skills as much in situations like that.
yeah,
But then he offered the ticket essentially at like an 80 to 90% discount. And I was like, okay, this guy wants to help, right? So
yeah.
once I got that vibe from him, I was like, you know what? Screw it, shoot or shoot. I shot him a
Mhm.
message and just straight up cold emailed saying that, oh, thank you for your offer. I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, I can't go due to financial and conflict of scheduling, but I don't know if your clinic allows to do this or if this is even a thing that you guys do in your practice, but I would love to shadow you and work under you during my summer vacation because this is my last summer as a vet student. So I knew before even heading into summer that I wanted to make the most out of it. Not only just by relaxing and traveling, but by,
Mhm.
developing my career as a veterinarian. So yeah, I shot him a message. I don't know if you guys do this, but like I would love to work under you, work in the one of the one of the brightest minds in exotic animal medicine and seeing the practices of a first world country. And I literally said in my email, like, I'm really just shooting my shot. And, you know, by God's will, he actually said yes. So
Oh
yeah,
my. And he got you on payroll or something. He paid you for the work.
no payroll, unfortunately. It's
Oh,
mostly
okay.
experience. So
Intern, yeah.
yeah, it's an internship. Win situation. I get to learn. They get free
Yeah.
labor. Everyone's
You get,
happy.
you get that on your resume. You get that on your,
Yeah,
like, yeah.
and
That's
life
awesome.
experiences in general. So yeah, that's pretty much how I ended up in Australia recently. I was in working in the Gold Coast for about 18 days, and it was an amazing experience. Really got to learn from like the brightest minds, see all of the new cutting edge technology that is being practiced in veterinary medicine, which we do not yet have here in the Philippines. And
Yeah.
yeah, just honestly a life changing journey. And it really just all stemmed from just going for it. I
Just going
just,
for it.
yeah,
That is actually one of the main points of this whole podcast. It's going for your dreams, going for the path that you really want in life. And that's great. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I mean, we have a lot of questions. I mean, we have more questions to follow up with that. So yeah, we should probably get into it. But I'm glad you enjoyed your stay in Australia, man. It's great.
yeah, man. And it's like I'm sharing this not really to brag about my experiences. It's really like you said, just the message of going for it. You really never
Yeah.
know unless you try, right? So
Yeah.
everything started from a joke. Entire experience, I've gotten to go to Australia twice just by like
But
joking about it, by asking for a sugar mommy, right?
yeah.
And like here I am today, being gotten to go to Australia twice, getting to learn from some of the best minds. So yeah, I guess just long story short, if you're really passionate about something, if you really want to pursue the career that you're chasing, then you gotta shoot your shot. Worst case scenario is you get denied, and at least you can
Yep.
say you tried, right?
Definitely. I definitely agree, man. Thank you for that. Okay, so we will move on to our next questions as well. We want to know more about you, even in your younger years. So you actually started in sports science before switching to vet med. Can you take us back to the turning point? What made you decide to shift into animal care?
Okay. Well, I've always had a deep passion for working with animals. Like ever since I was a kid, I grew up watching National Geographic, Steve Irwin, Animal Planet. I knew that I always had it in me, but as a boy living in Manila, without much experience or without much exposure rather, to working with animals other than your dog and cats, this passion kind of took a backseat. So majority of my young adult and childhood life was actually spent playing baseball. So that's how I ended up in sports science in UP Diliman. And it was like I have zero regrets about taking sports science in UP Diliman. It really opened up my world by entering UP. It allowed me to strive for. It allowed me to prove to myself that if I work for it, then I can get it. Basically, because
Definitely.
I actually did not pass the UPCAT. Surprise, surprise. Funny story, actually. Right before the night before the UPCAT, I was actually with a couple of friends, Mikey, my girlfriend now included, and then we drank because I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to UP anyway, right?" And look at me, year 10 in UP.
Yeah. Oh my
But yeah,
gosh.
I went. Yeah, exactly right. So I went to UP mainly because I played for the UP baseball team for 4 years, and it was that opportunity that allowed me to even enter the UP system. So yeah, I guess circling back to what I was saying, in baseball I was never really an excellent player. I was always decent, but never really your star player. And one of the reasons why I took this UP opportunity was to kind of just prove to myself that like, you know, I want to be able to prove to not only myself but to my peers and to everyone that I could play. And UP gave me the best opportunity to showcase that. And so throughout my athlete years, I was literally started on my freshman year of playing 0 games, or I played like 1 game out of 10. And then my second year, I played more games, ended up hitting a home run, my first career home run.
Whoa.
Um,
Yeah.
and then third and fourth years ended up becoming a consistent starter. And I guess the reason why I'm sharing this is because it was a really important milestone for me to prove to myself that if I put in the work, if I concentrate on, bettering myself, improving each day, then I can, reach heights. I can, live up to my expectations. So,
Can overcome anything you put your mind to. And
exactly.
that probably, pushed you to, your dream of being a vet or working with animals. And that's really impressive, man. I
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Precisely, exactly. So it
And
gave me the confidence to go for it. And sorry, I'm keep giving long-winded answers of getting to
yeah.
your initial answer, but the context matters. It was 2020. I was graduating from UP Diliman Sports Science, and after I graduated, I was really forced to ask myself, okay, what do I want out of this life? Because I feel like everybody kind of got a little existential, especially when COVID first hit and
Yeah.
everyone was in isolation. So it forced me to kind of realign with my true self, ask myself what really matters to me in this life. And yeah, I kind of returned to animals. And, same thing. I was like, I don't have the experience or the credentials. I'm not a Nepo baby. I'm not like the smartest student either. I didn't graduate with honors or anything. But then I'm like, I'm going to shoot my shot. I'm going to let UP Los Baños or whatever vet school I was applying in tell me the one that I can't go to vet school. But at least I can
Sure.
tell myself that I gave it a shot. So I
Mhm.
applied and got in.
And you got in. And you
Yeah.
did get like some impressive grades, as I remember, right? You got like an award for it or something like that.
Yeah. So here in vet school, I've gotten a couple of honors per semester. I don't think I'm going to be able to graduate with honors because the paraclinical years is what we call like the death years in vet school. That got the best of me, so I don't think it would
Yeah.
be enough to graduate with Latin honors. But just shows that I was never the brightest person, but since it's something that's aligned with my passion and something that
Yeah.
I'm really working hard towards, then it shows.
Of course.
Like the hard work shows. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. You overcame that. That's awesome. And so being a vet wasn't necessarily always your dream, but it developed over time with your love for animals, right? Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So more about vet school and your experience. What do people often misunderstand about becoming a veterinarian?
A lot of things. This is
Yeah.
like a can of worms.
Yeah.
Well, for starters, we are not cuddling puppies and playing with kittens all day. Honestly,
Man.
hate to break it to you, but that's not what we do.
Yeah.
Most of the time, our patients actually hate us and want to try to kill us because we're poking them with needles, we're opening their mouth, we're like playing with their genitals, like just to see if it's like healthy. They hate us. Long story short, they hate us. So they're trying to
Of
kill
course.
us most of the time. So
Yeah.
that's common misconception number one. Another misconception that I personally had as well with vet school is we actually, it sounds ridiculous when you say it, but vet med is more about medicine than the animals themselves. So,
No way.
yeah, surprise, surprise, right? Medicine. But yeah,
Love
like
that.
initially, I thought that entering vet school, I would be able to learn a lot about like, um, let's say, wildlife habitats or diet, behavior. So a lot of people think now, oh, you're a vet, so my dog is having behavioral issues. It keeps being here like that, or it gets really aggressive when it's surrounded with your food. What can I do to improve that? They actually don't really teach us that any of that in vet school.
Yeah, that's
Um,
Cesar Milan. That's what you learn from Cesar Milan.
yeah, literally
Dog
dog training.
whisperer.
It's a
Yeah,
completely different
different.
branch. So what
Psychological. Yeah.
exactly? So what we actually learn and discuss in vet school is more of the physiology, how the body works, and then
Mhm.
after physiology, this is the normal body. This is the normal processes. This is where the air flows in. This is where it flows out. After we learn the normal, then we learn the abnormal, so pathology. So we learn like the different diseases, the different lesions as to how bacterial or viral infections like display themselves. And then after we learn that, then we learn pharmacology. So hardcore drugs, like how the drugs work in the system, what is it indicated for, what's it indicated against, and then you move on to medical, which is like kind of everything together, and how do you like kind of apply everything that you've learned. And this is really just a tip of the iceberg, bro. Like we
Yeah,
go
no,
way deeper into detail, but yeah.
yeah, we could, but this isn't really a this is a
Yeah,
medical podcast right now.
yeah,
Plus,
yeah.
you
I'm
keep
not gonna
talking,
bore you
I'm just gonna
guys.
be like, no, I don't know what you're saying anymore.
Yeah, but I
That's
think
great. Yeah, no,
yeah,
definitely.
to
Yeah,
summarize it, it's like less about behavior.
mm,
Diet is included, but more really about what we're going to be paid to do, which is medicine,
that makes,
diagnosing, treating. Yeah.
of course. Yeah, no, that's great. And what's something you unexpected that you've learned either about animals or about yourself while studying vet med?
Something unexpected. Well, about myself a lot because vet med is 6 years, so
Hmm.
I've learned a lot about myself. Like some personal ones, some not so, but I'm not gonna bore you guys with that. I think like in terms of vet med as a whole, one of the things that I learned or surprised me is just how much of a gray area vet med is. So VetMed's color actually is gray. So that's like the color of VetMed. And it's funny because it really applies very well to the profession in general. Because you see, we're like, you think na, okay, if you're an animal lover, then you guys must all be in like the same industry. But no, it's so wide and so varied. So
Mhm.
at the start, you have your animal welfare advocates and you have your animal rights. So these are two different things. Animal rights is a little bit more like PETA or what's the other one in the Philippines? CARA and stuff like that. So it's a little bit more fighting for animal rights versus
Mm.
welfare is just more about like ensuring that animals have the freedom to express their natural behavior, freedom from disease, freedom from hunger. So that's welfare. And then within VetMed itself, which is under welfare, it's like a myriad like of different opportunities. So contrary to popular belief, it's not just your dogs and cats. So personally, I'm into exotics. So exotics are like your pet reptiles, birds, small mammals, which like guinea pigs, hamsters, and then there's
Yeah.
wildlife pa. Wildlife naman is the actual wild animals. So the animals that you see in the wild, how can you conserve them? What's like the education? And then there's like your chicken, then there's your piggeries, and then there's cattle, then there's horses, and then there's even
So many
pharmacology
branches.
research. And it's
Yeah.
like just open my mind to the amount of possibilities that you can have with actually working with animals. And that's something that I didn't really know. Just
Yeah.
how varied you can even work for BAI, animal industry, or you can work for the food corporation, diba? Or research for pharmacology. It's like the options are endless. And that's one of the nicest and hardest things about VetMed, I would say. Nicest because after you graduate, you can do so many things with this degree.
Definitely.
Hard part is because we have to study all of that, right? Like in the
Yeah.
6 year course. So,
Of
double
course.
edged sword.
I mean, yeah, it's an investment with your brain. You work at it and it will reward you in so many ways, a versatile amount of ways, and a very, in this demanding field. Have you ever experienced burnout and like academic pressure? How do you deal with it? Yeah,
All the time, dude.
I don't even
All
know
the
why I have to
time.
ask. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, 100%. So, I think every vet student will have to go through it because there's like these years which we call the paraclinical years. So the years right before you become a clinician or the years right before you start working with animals. These are all of your hardcore sciences. So we call them the P's of death. It's physiology, parasitology, pharmacology, pathology. And then there's
Mm.
also microbiology and stuff like that. And these are all really hard and incredibly detailed subjects that you're taking at the same time, which is like, like information overload to say the least. So I think every vet
Yeah.
student goes through that. But on a personal level, I would say that those years probably hit me the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Not only because they were hard subjects, but because, the whole reason why I entered vet school is like I like working with animals. This stage of my vet med life, I was working with zero animals. So I was just
Of course.
staring at like PowerPoint presentations, reading
Mm-hmm.
textbooks, studying. And on top of that, I took this vet med as a second degree. So for those of you who didn't know, you can actually go straight out of high school and take the 6 year course directly. Yeah. You
Oh
can go
wow.
straight out of high school and take the vet med course immediately. But since I took an undergrad degree first and spent 5 years doing that, basically when I
Mm-hmm.
entered these like hell years, I was already about 25. So quarter
Wow.
life crisis at the same time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I was just not very happy having, well, who would be happy studying like nonstop and like failing your exams? And then on top of that, I wasn't working with animals. And at the same time, all my batchmates, peers, they've been in the workforce for about like 4 to 5 years already. So they've been like
Mm-hmm.
enjoying like, their buying power, they go out for lunch, for drinks and all of that stuff. And I had a really hard time, I guess, kind of keeping up. And it like really made me
Mm-hmm.
question my decision to enter vet med because it was like all hardcore sciences. Like it seems irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, but now in retrospect, it's like, I get now why we have to like study all of that.
Of course.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it was just some really rough times. And I guess how I coped with it was number one, just making sure that you have time for yourself. And the time for yourself is not necessarily just lying down and watching Netflix or sleeping, which is very important also, I would say, for your mental health. But I think what I would do is I would have deliberate days off school to work on whatever's going on in my head. So
Yeah.
um,
Your YouTube channel. Yeah.
yeah, even apart from that, because like that's still, even though it is a passion of mine, it's still kind of work. Like I still need
Mm-hmm.
to work on editing, on like scripting and all of that stuff. This is like really just time for me myself. So look, like an example of this would be Luckily, I live here in Los Baños. This is where my campus is, and which is by the foot of Mount Makiling, so the highest
Mhm.
peak in Laguna. So there was this one day, I think I had 9 exams in like 5 days, which is like absurd. That's almost 2 exams per day. And I was really, really out. And then I had finals week the following week. And this was also during Christmas season. So like, all of my friends, they were going out Christmas parties, my family. And it was really a hard time for me. So what I did was I went to Mount Makiling actually alone, just by myself. So I did like a solo hike, literally put my phone on airplane mode and kind of just decompressed from everything. Like
Yeah.
detached myself literally and physically, mentally and physically from like my
Mhm.
life. Just having some time by myself. Obviously I am a male and I'm a pretty big one at that. So I have the privilege of being able to do that without being too scared. But yeah, I kind of just had some questions for myself as well, some guide questions to kind of just realign because when you're burnt out, you could really get existential in the sense like what's the point of all of this? Like, does all of this even matter? Should I change careers? These are the type of
Uh-huh.
negative thoughts that enter your head, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of had those questions just to like allow me to reflect and kind of decompress. And yeah, so far that's worked for me. And that's usually what works for me when I'm burnt out. I generally like to have a lot of me time and
Hmm.
not
Go
me time,
to the
just like
mountains and fight tigers. I'm just kidding.
and fight tigers. Just a normal day in Rocket's modern life.
Just a normal day, coping with med. Yep, coping with that
Exactly.
med. All
Yeah.
right. What advice? This is not really related to the vet med, but what would you give to pet owners who want to provide a healthier and more natural food like options for or beyond store brands?
Okay. Well, number one would be research. Do your own research and
Mhm.
get it from reputable sources, not TikTok, not Facebook,
Ooh,
right? Like
I see.
try as much as possible to dive into like the more accurate literature, although it can be very overwhelming. I understand. That's one of the reasons why I do content creation as well, just to kind of
Yeah.
like help unpack those complex concepts. But yeah, number one would be to do your own research. And number two is I actually wouldn't recommend to go fully natural diet to my clients or future clients rather. I'm still in school. Mainly because like you got to get your ratios so right, like exactly to the amount. So you need to be weighing the food, you need to be measuring, getting the micro and macronutrients. It's just like a headache, honestly. So
Yeah.
what I would recommend if you want healthier options or fresh options for your pets would to kind of be like mix it around. So have a little bit of kibble and then a little bit of fresh produce, and you can kind of mix it together.
I see.
Because contrary to popular belief, even though it is processed food, kibble, it has the exact micro and macronutrient, well, maybe more macro nutrient ratios that your pet needs, right? So it
Yeah.
has the amount of protein, carbohydrates, and fats that your pet needs. So even though it is processed, it's like it's actually an adequate
Measured.
diet. Yeah, it's measured, right? As long
Yeah.
as you're getting it from like reputable brands. Obviously, the cheaper
Mhm.
you go, the less quality of ingredients they use, and they probably
Mhm.
use a lot more sodium. But yeah, to cut it short, best way to like provide your pets healthier diets is number one, research, like proper research. You can start with TikTok and Facebook, but eventually you want to start like diving into like the veterinary blogs or
I see.
vet blogs, and then to not go fully natural right away. I would recommend kind of just easing it in. You can use natural food as treats, and then you can like kind of go for a 75-25 ratio from kibble to that, and then kind of play
Mhm.
around with it as you go because it's a learning process. You're gonna be the best nutritionist unless you're literally a nutritionist.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some time, so it's a learning process. I'm still not the best. You're not gonna be the best. As long as you accept that and continue to get better each day and improve your diet, your pet's diet, but like every day,
Mhm.
then it should be all right.
Yeah. So it's not even about the brand of the food, it's about balancing their or what they're eating. No. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
generally, for the most part. Obviously, if you get more expensive brands, then those are like really high quality, ingredients and like perfectly designed for your pet. But yeah, it's just like a learning process. Because also you can do all the research in the world, but if your pet doesn't eat it, and the animal doesn't eat it, then it's pretty much useless, right? So you gotta
Right.
like experiment, play around with the foods that it does like, it doesn't like, and yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I will feed my three dogs properly now. They're always hungry, asking for food. I'm just like, you just ate. But
You're the
I'm an
enabler.
enabler. I didn't. Well, I feed them what they have, and then next meal, right? In regards to like the future of vet practice, do you think AI and technology will transform how veterinary care is practiced in the years ahead?
1000%.
Mm.
1000%. Yeah, so the perfect example of this, do I share this? Okay, fine, I will. So one of the most amazing things that I experienced or got to learn from my time in Australia was the use of AI in the veterinary setting, consultation setting. So
Mhm.
basically, when you enter the room, so like a client enters the room and I'm like, hi, I'm Dr. Roque. Thank you for coming in. This is nice to meet you, yada yada pleasantries. Before you even start the consultation, the vets there ask, hey, would it be okay if AI recorded this consultation? It just helps me with my notes. And usually they say yes. And yeah, you go along with the typical veterinary consultation. So, how old is your dog? What diet is he in? Is he the only dog in the house, or is there another dog or pet in the house? Is your dog spayed? Is it neutered already? And then you do the physical exam. So, hydration status is good, teeth looks fine, body temperature is normal, heart rate and respiratory rate is normal. You go through the whole thing, and then at the end of the consultation, basically the vet clicks stop recording, and then all of the notes come out, like in an
Amazing.
organized pattern. I'm not gonna name drop na lang the brand of the company because
Mhm.
I'm planning on taking that home here. So
Yeah.
I want to be the first one. But it's just amazing because basically what we're doing now in the Philippines is as we're consulting the pet owners and the clients and the pet, the pet, when we're asking them about history, we're just taking down all of the notes manually. So it's like, let's say I'm typing here. So it's like, oh, how old is he now? Oh, okay, is this age? Are there any other dogs? And it's like, it's
Yeah.
hard because we want to be very engaged in the conversation that we're having with the client, but then you also
Mhm.
need to have your notes. And there have been countless times, I've personally experienced it as well, wherein
Mhm.
after the whole consultation, bye, okay, thank you. Or it's like you're going into the back room to prepare like that you're gonna give, and then it's like, shit, what's the weight again? Did you get the gender again? Like
Oh,
how old
no.
is this? See, like there's a lot of things that just fly
Yeah.
over your head, and which is just natural
Mhm.
because we're humans, right? We're trying to keep a conversation with the client while typing out our notes, and it's just
Yeah.
an absolute game changer to have AI kind of jot down all of your notes, just to
Mhm.
make it's so streamlined and for you to use as reference. So it's not only making our lives easier by like accomplishing a task, but even in the future, if we need to go look back at history and all of the like past medications, the weight it was prior, it's really so detailed, and that's what I found really amazing about the tech that they had in Australia, which I
Yeah.
have not yet seen here in the Philippines.
That would be amazing, and not just for vet. That could be something used for medical, for other like human doctors. That actually
What,
sounds.
real doctors? Were you gonna say real doctors, Julio?
I was gonna say. Yeah, no, I mean that's that is great. And like, if you were to start your own clinic, if you had the chance to start your own clinic, what would it look like? Would you build it on that with AI, or would you build it on?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally, just trying to make it as streamlined as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Think that I really admired about like the clinics in Australia is just how efficient everything is. It's the entire process is just so streamlined. And I think here in the Philippines, we have amazing veterinarians. So we have really, really intelligent and really smart and compassionate vets. But what's lacking, I would say, is a little bit more of the organizational structure. Or like, I can't say that for sure because I'm not in the workforce, right? So I don't know how these clinics operate. But based on my experience as a pet owner, there and it leaves a lot to be desired with regards to I guess hospitality, the I guess, I don't know, just making sure that the clients feel like, VIPs, which a lot
Yeah.
of clinics are getting better at, but client care really, and that's something
Mhm.
that I definitely want to improve, not only for my own sake in my own clinic in the future, but even for vets in general, because I think that we do have really intelligent and brilliant vets out here in the Philippines, but if we don't articulate properly what is going on with their pet or what we recommend, then it's kind of useless, right? Because
Yeah.
if I were to bombard you with just a bunch of scientific information, oh, your dog has severe leukocytosis, and due to the non-regenerative left shift, it seems like the most appropriate diagnostic approach would be to the ELISA, which is enzyme-linked immunoabsorbent assay. So that would be 6,000 pesos because this is the only way that we can really do this.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Diba?
6,000?
Diba?
That's
Yeah, that's all you hear, right? And like, it's correct. And that's what a lot of like I experience and what I hear from a lot of people. It's like the diagnosis is correct. The treatment plan is correct. But if you're not communicating efficiently with the owner or trying to
Mhm.
meet halfway, then it's all kind of useless, right? Because it's all just
Yeah,
knowledge. But at the end of the day, our job is to help the pet,
of
right?
course.
Help the animal. So
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that could be improved in the Philippine veterinary industry for like pet practice, small animal practice, at least.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think my dog got sick recently, Vienna, and they talked a lot about medical terms, whatever, and then we were like blah 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 transfusion, and I was like, wait, so what is this for again? And they're like, you're gonna get the blood from this dog, put it on this dog. That's it. Like, all
Yeah.
right, like that's great. So hook me up, hook her
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just like to dumb it down, but not necessarily because like you're speaking to your clients as dumb, because that's also a
yeah.
big no-no to do as well.
No,
You
definitely.
you want to be working together with this. So it's like just
Of
to
course.
get them on the same page as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's how it is in real estate as well. They always understand every single thing in the contract, every term. We just have to say, hey, if this happens, that happens, or this happens, you have to pay this. So it's just simplifying it, and yeah, I get you there as a professional myself. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, amazing. And aside from vet school, we have a few more minutes of this. Aside from vet school, you've also building a presence online. What is you to share this journey?
Okay. Specifically with my vet journey, I think one of my biggest catalysts to starting content creation was because when I first got enrolled to UP Los Baños for veterinary medicine, I didn't know anyone. So I didn't know anyone that took the degree. I didn't know anyone that was taking the degree. And basically, I was going into it blind, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what I relied on was content creators. They kind of became my pseudo friend into, I guess, understanding the ropes of veterinary medicine. And at that time, I was actually already creating content with my podcast, Rock's Modern Life.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, Rock's Modern Life wasn't really about vet med or animals in general. It was really just about Philippine pop culture. So I was creating content at the time. And then sooner, like I think a year or two into it, I kind of just realized like, hey, not only is it an opportunity to kind of just like to be a content creator for animals, but that's how I kind of got assimilated to this world. So why don't I do the same for the future generations, right? Because you
Yeah.
don't really see that many veterinary professionals or people that work with animals for a living. So um, I was like amazed with the amount of information that I found online. So I kind of just want to like recreate that. And my first video ever was kind of just like make animals cool again. Because for me personally, I find animals amazing, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be like this dull, dark, like, because you know how nowadays when you watch like, I don't know, nature documentaries, they talk about the animals, and it's like there's only like 200 of these left in the world, and if we don't act now, then they will be gone forever. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, yes, very important to educate people about these animals and strive them to protect, because if you don't understand, like, this ties back into my work with for the future. you can't protect something that you don't understand. So
Of
I
course.
do know that you need to express how grave the situation is now for our wildlife, because it is quite grave already. But I wanted to take kind of like my own personal take on it, which is showing you these amazing animals, but also showing you that it can be cool. It doesn't need to be like so serious. I'm like not the smartest person in the world, but I'm surviving. And like I'm not also like your stereotypical vet student. Like I'm kind of a dumb jock. I played baseball for a majority of my life. Like I'm not the nerdiest dude out there as well. It's like, I want to show you that it doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter uh, who you are or what you were. It's like what matters is that you have a passion for animals, and that's really what connects people. And like I want to be able to share the stories of how animals bring people together and how our world really revolves around animals. Because if you think about it, animals are integral talaga to our life. We
Yeah.
eat them every day, whether even if you're not a meat eater, like so you have your chicken, your pork, and then you also have your dairy, which goes into your
Mhm.
cheeses, and then there's also like with pharmacology, so medicine. Before they test drugs on humans, they test them first on animals, right? So
Yeah.
it's like our entire world really revolves around animals, and that's something that
Mhm.
just kind of want to share a little bit more of with the rest of the world.
I agree. I grew up watching Animal Planet too. I care about animals. If I liked studying more, I would have been a vet med. I've told you before. I
Yeah,
would have been into wildlife as well, but unfortunately, I don't like reading. So,
I don't either, bro. But I just love animals that much, and
yeah, yeah.
that's also something though that I do want to say for anyone that's like listening to this podcast that loves animals. You don't necessarily have to be a vet. Obviously, being a vet is the most stable career path, I would say, for
Yeah.
working with animals because we are doctors, so it's probably the most like financially stable as well amongst all of the options. But there are countless other options. You could be working in wildlife research. You could be working in
Mhm.
rehabilitation. You could be working in rescues, right? So you don't necessarily have to be a vet if you want to work with animals. It just makes life a little bit easier if you do have the DPM. So that's why I'm personally taking it.
Cool. Yeah. And then, what's one thing that you hope people could take away from your content, especially those curious about vet med?
One thing that people could take away from my content, I think I pretty much kind of just said that, like the whole
Mhm.
animals are integral to
Of
our daily
course. Yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah. That makes
From my content, yeah, I guess it's again, yeah, I pretty much just answered it
awareness.
also.
Awareness on protecting animals. Yeah. Who cares about the tamaraws if I don't see the tamaraws? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really, yeah, like, I don't know. I guess it's awareness and knowing how cool. Okay, this one. I think if I could give, if any, or like, if there's one thing that viewers could take away from my content is learning how cool Philippine wildlife is. Because we're
Mhm.
always, other than like the Philippine eagle and whatever we have in our marine, or in our oceans, in our marine life, we're kind of just overshadowed by the other countries because we don't have any elephants, we don't have tigers, we don't have lions, we don't have the grand big
Yeah.
animals like in our country, but we have freaking amazing animals. So for
Mhm.
context, we are like, I believe, the second or third most biodiverse countries in the world. So
Mhm.
number one being Madagascar, and then number two or three is Philippines, and I think we're about interchange with Indonesia as well. But basically, per square mile, we have the most various range of species, which is insane to think about,
Uh-huh.
right? So we don't
Yeah.
have any mega ones, but we have majority of like the different species, especially reptiles, birds, insects. It's like we're so rich in those wildlife, and there's so much more that we have yet to discover, but also so much more that we're continuously losing with the lack
Mhm.
of habitat protection or poaching or all of that. So yeah, if there's anything that that's a viewer would take away from my content in the wildlife aspect, it's like that the Philippines has some pretty damn cool animals.
Yeah. Someone's got to get David Attenborough to come here. I'm sure he has.
I'm
But
sure he has actually.
cover
Yeah.
a bunch of other things. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
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 Awesome. Yeah. And I don't like zoos that much because they look sad. and I would love to see more of your content in the future. It's just about wildlife and what you with your education and your knowledge, man. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I have a bunch of really exciting videos coming up, specifically about my Australia trip. So I
Mm-hmm.
have a couple of more of vlog styles, which is kind of just like figuring out life in a new city in a different country. Because like when I arrived there, I didn't really have anyone to pick me up, to show me to my house, to get around. So like yeah, that was like the first couple of episodes. And then I also
Mm-hmm.
have two zoo episodes as well. So they're both wildlife sanctuaries. The first one being Currumbin,
Okay.
which was a local wildlife sanctuary in the Gold Coast, which was absolutely beautiful, had amazing
Mm-hmm.
animals. And the second one being Australia Zoo, so the Zoo of the Irwins, Steve Irwin's home. So
Well,
that was an amazing moment for me. Full circle, grew up watching the guy. It was just surreal to be there. So yeah, I got a couple of exciting stuff. And even apart from wildlife, I do create a lot of vet med content, so life as a vet student, and
mhm.
also pet care content. Although I do lean a little bit towards exotics because not only is that my passion, but I feel like more needs to be like learned or when
Yeah.
it comes to taking care of exotic pets. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if you guys enjoy like that type of content, then make sure to check it out. A lot of exciting stuff coming up ahead.
Yeah, you heard it from him, man. You visit his YouTube channel, Roque Banzon. Modern Life. Is it still called Modern Life?
Yes, yes, it's still live for now.
Yeah.
It's gonna probably take a change next year after I graduate, but secret na lang yan. Rock is modern life for
Yeah.
now.
Man, yeah, you gotta those podcasts. You learn so much about wildlife, animals, and your own pets. So hope you guys get to click subscribe and like all the videos. Thank you so much, Roque, for sharing not just your journey in VetMed, but also the heart behind it. From your advocacy work to your life as a student, content creator. So inspiring to me, especially. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, man. Really
Thank you so much
appreciate
for
it.
your time.
It's amazing also just like reflecting on the journey it has been. I haven't really been working so much with my advocacy arm, which I do hope to get back to in the future. But yeah, made a couple of videos about that as well if you guys want to check it out. One of them being visiting the Agusan Marsh, which is in Agusan del Norte. Or no,
Mm-hmm.
the Agusan del Sur. That's basically where they found Lolo, the largest crocodile ever recorded
Ooh,
in history.
Lolo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I visited his habitat, and that's mainly because we're working together with the indigenous community, just
Yeah.
supporting them, giving them sponsoring a student. But yeah, I've been a little bit off the advocacy work, but it's definitely something that resonates with me deeply because you can't protect the animals if you don't protect the people that live with them first. So yeah.
I agree. Yeah. That's great. I think people should really know more about that. The government should know more about that. You listening, government?
If you
Yeah.
listen, you need to know more about this.
You listening to me? Yeah, yeah. Okay. That's great, man. I appreciate the words of wisdom that you're sharing. This it's very yeah, it's to us in this podcast, especially. Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
Of course,
Um
man. Happy to be here, and I'm excited for more of the content that you guys put out. I think it's really important to share more of the different career paths in the Philippines and the
mhm.
different passionate individuals. And yeah, I will definitely be tuning into the podcast as well.
Awesome. Thank you for that, man. I will send you a link. All right. Yeah. Okay. I don't know how else to end it other than what we just said. So, do you have any questions or before we end?
I guess one question that I could have is why did you guys start this podcast and start inviting like passionate individuals that have absolutely nothing to do with real estate?
Well, we wanted to connect these passions with real estate, how it relates to real estate. It's supposed to show how real estate is not just properties and contracts and it's people think about it as black and white numbers, profit, making, investments and all, but how does it actually integrate with people's lives? For example, you as a vet med, you're gonna need a clinic and you're gonna want that clinic to be very nice, spacious. You're gonna need a good location, and you're gonna want to enjoy being in that community. And the residents of that community are gonna want to see your clinic and say, "I like the vibe of this." Yes, they're taking care of my dog, but I get to chill here, even take a nap while my dog is waiting to die. Well, no, sorry. Okay, that's a joke. But
Cut it
obviously,
out! Cut it out!
no, but you know what I mean. We want to showcase how important real estate also is. Knowing about real estate, how important it is to, like, in other industries, because I get a lot of people, they want to put their business in Makati, BGC, Ortigas, basta the most amount of foot traffic. What happens in the outskirts of Metro Manila, these CBDs, and personally, me, I'm an advocate as well for even going out of the main spaces and like helping out or having more presence outside of to cause less traffic, have a better quality of life. And so, yeah, I hope that answers your question. I Not only does it help with, vet med, regular med, but it's the experiences regular, not real.
No, I just playing. But yeah, it definitely does answer it. I think at the end of the day, that is something that I am kind of striving towards as well. Like my long term vision is I would love to put up a clinic that has a cafe like right next to it that you can bring your dogs and pets, and then like the centerpieces or something what I have behind me is just enclosures with reptiles, and
Yeah.
kind of at the end of the day building a community to make animals more relatable to people, right? Because they surround us everywhere. And I want to kind of just break the barrier that we have with
Mhm.
our animals and investment in general. Kind of just break the barrier of, we're not so different from these animals. We both have a heart, we both have lungs, we both have a liver, we both eat and shit, right? Like, I mean, it's like I want to be able to build, allow people to a connection with these animals,
Mhm.
and at the same time, for us vet, well, I'm not a vet yet, but for the vets to be able to build a connection with the your clients.
Yes.
Like at the end of
Yeah.
the day, we're not robots. We get burnt out. We get stressed. We do get compassion fatigue also. Like
Mhm.
we from going from a euthanasia appointments, putting down an animal, to your next one being a puppy consult. So you have 8 puppies. But obviously you can't share that with your next client, right? So
Of
that's
course.
what I kind of want. That's why I content, just to make everything more relatable, so that an average person does understand not only more about the animals, but about the veterinary industry as well. What we go through to get there, and just to not only get a little bit more respect, but to make it more relatable and to hopefully inspire future generations as well to pursue this field.
To everyone tuning in, whether you're chasing your dream course or figuring out your next step, or just here for the stories, I hope this episode reminds you that it's okay to change paths, pursue what you love, and tell your story while you're at it. Don't forget to follow Work and Talk in PH for more episodes like this, where we highlight work that matters and the people behind it. Again, I am Julio. This is Work and Talk in PH, your go-to podcast for lifestyle insights, career convos, and real estate realness, where chill convos meet real life lessons. Because hashtag it works.